Hello YouTubers, this video will investigate second law of thermodynamics from point of view of Boltzmann Entropy formula. In these three-part videos, the first video, Fourier series and holographic universe and brains, that our surroundings are just Fourier math series and that our memory and understanding are not the same as digital computers. Even computers and mammals have very familiar structures: short memory, long memory, CPU, brains. But they do very different processes. Where brains are Fourier series mathematics based on superposition principle, computers are sequential brute force-based system. Video world built on mathematics and mathematics foundation is extrapolation, is about what is building block, primordial soup of our reality, that numbers are real things, not just vague abstraction, and physics and our physical world is built on numbers and transcendental function of sine, cosine, and exponent function. Our main operators were random nature or God. The intelligent design insert physics constant in them. That is also a reference to Fourier series which is sinusoid sums or exponent sums with imaginary number in it. This third video chapter deals with biochemistry from the perspective of physics, more precisely from thermodynamics science branch point of view. DNA code programs create humans as a pinnacle of intelligence. Theory in this video depends on the belief system, Darwinism or Bible. One fact is known, that laboratory experiments with DNA recreation of Darwinian natural selection, at least one cell bacteria from non-organic matter in perfect condition using electric spark, is out of reach for today's science. My argument is based on thermodynamics and not the organic chemistry of DNA molecules, for obvious reasons. We can explain DNA only from mathematics point of view, statistical mechanics, not from an experimental physics point of view. Second law of thermodynamics has four interpretations based on four physicists. Carnot principle shows the efficiency of heat engines. Interpretation is that the fuel potential energy of combustion or steam cannot be 100% converted to useful mechanical work. In the case of steam and internal and other kinds of heat engines, the temperature of the exhaust out gases is always higher than the ambient temperature. Oswald's principle describes that we cannot use potential energy without external work. Scientists Oswald's principle describes the internal potential energy of a body and tells that to convert potential energy into useful mechanical work requires a body with the temperature difference. Energy flows from a higher temperature body to lower one. That restricts the production of a perpetual engine that converts internal body potential energy into useful work without external interaction. That also explains the Gulf Stream. Mexico Bay is torched by the sun, and water flows to Greenland and Great Britain Islands. Technically, you can make pipe very long and perfectly isolated. At such pipe from Mexico Bay to Europe is impossible. Perfect insulators don't exist, and hydromechanical losses on pipe surfaces and other technical obstacles do not allow such endeavor. Gulf Stream is typically 100 kilometers wide and 800 meters to 1,200 meters deep. The current velocity is fastest near the surface, with the maximum speed typically about 2.5 meters per second. Gulf streams have very insane measurement of insulation that allows the transfer of big energy quantity that allows Great Britain and Normandy to be more than few degrees warmer on average than entire Scandinavia. Even the third law of thermodynamics do not allow potential energy to be equal to zero. But also Oswald's principle shows that we cannot use potential energy without a cooler body or an external work input. Clausius' principle shows that all thermodynamics processes are irreversible processes. Arrow of time of all processes, not just thermodynamics processes, always goes forward from past to future. Clausius' principle introduces very important physics unit entropy S. It shows the irreversibility of heat engine. Any combustion engine and fuel potential energy cannot be used indefinitely. Entropy shows engine's efficiency from point of view of outside factors. Combustion engine and piston have friction in chamber walls, cars have air resistance, wheels have bearings friction, and crankshaft also have friction energy losses. Fuel mixture must be burned in a combustion engine to sustain constant velocity constantly. In another case, car will stop after some distance x. Entropy is very important. Okay, it is the most important unit in thermodynamics, and not just thermodynamics, but computer science too. It shows that all mechanical energy gained from burning fuel becomes disordered heat. Air resistance and friction are also heat energy, which is wasted to surroundings. A car brakes, aka car mechanical motion converted to heat energy, is wasted into surroundings, and heat is a measure of chaos in a system. Even fuel potential energy is heat, but it can be used as heating. Very simple usage, but also converted into mechanical work, example internal combustion engine. And combustion engine requires external work. Piston, valves, a chamber must be consciously created and manufactured, whereas wood burning heat energy release can be done randomly, example by a strike of lightning. Higher entropy, higher chaos. Steam train engine driven by fire has much less entropy value than randomly burning forest. Entropy in thermodynamics shows the irreversibility of heat engines. A better explanation is every heat engine's entropy is bigger than zero. The perpetual engine is impossible to make. Ludwig Boltzmann created the most general description of a second law of thermodynamics with the help of statistical mechanics. This approach is very good in our case because in our case absolute energy unit 1 is dimensionless. Boltzmann introduced into physics first time probability unit, which is a mathematics concept and non-dimensional unit as well. Here K is Boltzmann constant and W is odds of gas molecules to be in a particular energy microstate. If we have a closed energetic system made of 20 gas molecules in all containers, the biggest probability of this system will be that 10 molecules will be on the half side of a container and 10 will be on other half side of a container. W parameter, or many microstates in closed systems, the entropy of this system is equal to. This microstate is the most probable of all possible. The entropy is the at maximum value. Another example is if all 20 molecules clamp together on the left side and 0 molecules on the right side of a container. This scenario microstate number is equal to 1. The entropy of such scenario is at minimum value and equal to Boltzmann entropy always goes to maximum value. Tendency to reach a balance of 50-50 temperature and pressure equalizes, and the difference of pressure, temperature, and heat energy equal to zero on both sides of a container. That is one of the scientific definition of chaos. Previously, we established in Clausius principle that entropy is always bigger than zero. Probability equals entropy zero is a theoretical limit or boundary condition. In reality, internal combustion engine works in the range of 10 raised by 20 molecules and more. Therefore, it is a theoretical limit. Theoretically, we can produce free energy in a very unlikely scenario when 10 molecules gather on the left side of a cylinder and will produce force vector F. If it was an internal combustion engine piston, we get free energy action. The Boltzmann principle extends the Clausius entropy principle and measurement notion to the limit by explaining why it is a very unlikely situation for free energy harvesting. Why it is the most important equation not in physics but in science in general. All previous interpretation also can be used to describe efficiency of engine or energetic system. The answer is because it describes the behavior of an energetic system at the molecular level. Computer science is similar to Shannon and von Neumann's entropy equation, which describes information level on information bit level, a binary-based logarithm. After this interpretation, many attempt to dispute this notion. One most famous is the Maxwell demon, who counts the kinetic energy of gas molecules and reverses maximum entropy. It was in 1960 disproved by scientist Rolf Landauer that the demon requires information about velocity, and information is also energy related measurement unit. So, second law of thermodynamics was sustained. A better example in chemistry is oil refineries. In oil refineries, we people use crude oil and heat to refine crude oil into fraction of fuels: kerosene, aka jet fuel, gasoline, diesel, heavy oil, furnace oil, and on the bottom is bitumen, so-called asphalt binder. Here we use heat as a driving force to refine crude oil. This process is irreversible, even though crude oil is a chaotic, multifunctional organic compound, and refining creates order in the sense we get 1/10 fraction of fuels. And if we mix all fractions, we get crude oil. Opposite statement is impossible, is one directional process. Even in this example, we do not produce any purposeful work like in heat engine to get order. Crude oil refining is the one-dimensional path process. After Boltzmann presented the theory, was created a new concept, arrow of time, or an alternative name is an entropy arrow of time. It describes why the time machine is impossible from science fiction point of view. The random occurring order is very unlikely event, and time goes from past to future by increasing entropy value. This chapter is based on a book by Erwin Schrödinger, What is Life? The Physical Aspects of a Living Cell, written by the founder of the quantum mechanics, Erwin Schrödinger, which derived wave function for the elementary particles called Schrödinger wave equation. This book tries to analyze organic living organisms from physics perspective. I will focus on one of the chapters related to negative entropy. This chapter has been rejected by the science community as false, but I agree that Erwin Schrödinger has been on the right path. He argues all organisms regenerate by eating, so food as energy does not just keep constant temperature and requires to move for mammals and other organisms, but also regenerate organic tissue, which is very different from non-organic machines. Oil is not used to regenerate wear and tear, but only to move to produce mechanical work or reduce wear and tear caused by friction between moving parts. Regeneration means an organism from food rebuilds the body from disorder by digesting food into low-order carbohydrates, creating order, human body tissue and bones. In Erwin Schrödinger words, what an organism feeds upon its negative entropy, or, to put it less paradoxically, the essential thing in metabolism is that the organism succeeds in freeing itself from all the entropy it cannot help producing while alive. I disagree with the statement. We don't know how the DNA living organisms have such power to rebuild. We only know about the energy, calories, and food. In Erwin Schrödinger words, in some very advanced countries, I don't remember whether it was Germany or USA or both, you could find menu cards in restaurants indicating, in addition to the price, the energy content of every dish. He's right, we only care about energy, not to die. Lack of food, like a motor engine piston, will stop the beat. Same to humans. We will starve to death just by lack of internally produced heat. We are hot-blooded animals in sense of biology, but food nutrition value is a real thing proven 100 times, and even on YouTube channels people make experiments by extracting calories and energy value mostly from cereal, which is dry food, by burning them and heating water and comparing the value with cardboard packaging of cereal food by burning and comparing energy values. The food chain is the most important aspect of on Earth, even more important than global warming or water, air and soil pollution, which always directly threatens the ecosystem of food chain. In this food chain, looks the highest hierarchy domain is occupied by predators, including humans, and they produce entropy and increase entropy. People eat very, very sophisticated organic matter, proteins, fats, and carbohydrates, and in the process of digestion, metabolism releases water and CO2. So yeah, all predators increase total entropy of Earth. It is positive entropy, not positive but very high. But it's very peculiar catch in this statement of ecosystem circle. All ecosystem circle, including human, create zero entropy in the end. In a closed ecosystem, value of entropy is always equals to zero. In a semantics language, circle represents math numeral 0. In Clausius' formula, circular integral shows a circular contour. This statement only works for living organisms. For planes, trains, and automobiles are not possible to create 100% or zero-sum engine that works not just mechanical useful motion, but an repair of all mechanical parts. Only living organic creatures can sustain zero entropy. Erwin was wrong that living organisms fit on negative entropy. A living organism can sustain zero entropy condition, and that is not quite negative value. To sustain zero entropy requires an external energy source for all ecosystems. Sun is all source of energy on Earth. From university course on renewable energy, hydropower, wind power, and of course solar power is all produced by sun radiation energy, including Gulf Stream current is also driven by sun energy. The second and most important player in the ecosystem is plants and phytoplankton. To keep high predators alive, humans, dolphins, whales, we need food from other animals or plants directly, but also need oxygen to breathe. That is where negative entropy happens. I won't put the disclaimer that is not Erwin Schrödinger negative entropy concept. Plants and phytoplankton take solar energy plus CO2 and H2O vapor and produces biomass, polysaccharide, cellulose, glucose, fructose. It creates negative entropy, taking very low order molecules like water vapor and CO2 gases of animals breathing and organic matter decomposition and cars and planes and automobiles, and convert these low order molecules into high order molecules like cellulose, polysaccharide, fructose, glucose, which we and grass eaters consume, and circles begin again. Are plants creating negative entropy and reverse time arrow of entropy? Question mark. Not really. Plant eaters and meat eaters depends on plants, but they together get energy from sun, which closes the ecosystem circle food chain, an energy circle. This sun is responsible for all living organisms' energy supply, even though it shines as a clockwork mechanism. Descartes and Newton believed that God created Earth as perfect clockwork mechanism, where the sun shines 20 hours per day and 365 per year, regulated by physics laws. Negative entropy I will put with asterisks. In the heliocentric system, Earth and Sun are not closed energetic system. And second law of thermodynamics, only and just only applicable to closed energetic system. And the Boltzmann equation of entropy shows how much possible ways using math combinatoric energy can be distributed in a closed energetic system. DNA is genome, everything described by this three-letter abbreviation. DNA sequence made from 4 elements, genetic mathematical code, T, C, G, and A letters, and according to science, at actual size, a human cell's DNA total about 3 meters in length, and such 4 element sequence encodes everything: gender, height, eye color, and not just the eye organ itself. The eye is a super sophisticated organism, more sophisticated than a wide body airplane made from billions of parts. Every sequence of DNA is important. Random nature cannot create such a sequence, or a better analogy is the infinite monkey theorem states that a monkey hitting keys at random on a typewriter keyboard for an infinite amount of time will almost surely type any given text, such as complete works of William Shakespeare. As a joke, what is odd that monkey arranged a 6-letter word banana by randomly picking 6 letters? Odd is not 0, because word banana has many repeating letters of A and N, but order in the sequence of a word is important. Same fact is important for DNA sequence. Same building block, but every organ of any animal must be precisely arranged. The Boltzmann equation shows that entropy always goes to random 50-50 chaotic state. The same principle was used in computer science. Not all information is equal. Random noise in a record is also information, even not preferable information. That implies the existence of intelligent design. Mere quote: the information contained in an English sentence or computer software does not derive from the chemistry of the ink or the physics of magnetism, but from a source extrinsic to physics and chemistry altogether. Indeed, in both cases, the message transcends the properties of a medium. Natural selection works because in a 4 billion years period, life appeared in puddles from very simple chemical elements of carbon, hydrogen, oxygen, nitrogen, and other minor elements. Requires to create one cell of bacteria, but the scientific method tells that it is near impossible occurrence. Yes, it can be if multicellular life forms been one page long, as William Shakespeare or all literary works, and Beethoven's symphony been 1 millisecond long. Or Boltzmann's formula for gases atoms consisted from 20 atoms. In reality, it is more than 10 raised by 20 molecules. DNA genome sequence is far from small to allow random nature guide chemistry in the right direction to create species variation, which is Darwinism's claim. It requires external force involvement, and that is not a scientific method. But it is also necessary to distinguish Shannon information from information that performs a function or conveys a meaning. We must distinguish sequences of characters that are A, merely improbable, from sequences that are B, improbable and also specifically arranged so as to perform a function. That is, we must distinguish information carrying capacity from functional information. Boltzmann and Shannon in computer science with entropy equation tried to explain randomness, chaos, and distinguish via mathematics formula, and give an explanation. To get something useful requires very sophisticated circumstances and conditions. It means driving external force. Burning fuel in an internal combustion engine. The engine must be constructed under well-developed instruction. Another way, engine will not work properly. That is all, folks. Thanks for watching. Please subscribe.